Hello everyone and welcome to the show. My name is Angela and of course you're watching BRT TV. As usual, we bring you the best of entertainment from sports to music videos and of course comedy skits. Now today on the show we have a very special guest, and guess what? We are going to be taking you on a trip down memory lane. This is an episode that you do not want to miss. Of course it's BRT special and it all begins after this. Welcome back to the show. If you're just joining us, then it is time for us to introduce a very special guest. He's the Executive Director of ValueMedia. His name is Mr. Banjo, and together we're going to be taking a trip down memory lane. Welcome to the show, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well.
Okay.
It's been a long year, but given everything that's happened, but we have to be thankful. But it's been good. It's been good so far.
Thank God. So let's just get right into it.
Okay.
We're taking a trip down memory lane.
Yes.
So my first question would be on the buses.
Yes.
We have a wide variety of content.
Yes.
There's football showing,
Yes.
music videos,
Yes.
music shows, a whole lot. So what was the inspiration for this? Why did you decide that you wanted to have a variety of content showing?
Okay. The first thing that we wanted to do was that because we're a value-added service to the buses, so our first objective was to always make sure that for every single commuter that comes into the bus, for every single passenger, they're entertained when they come in. Initially, we wanted to just be doing news because that was what we thought people would watch or would want to watch while they're going back and forth. But then we did when we first started. This was in 2010. Okay. We did a bit of a survey, and then we found out that everybody was more or less crazy about football. So your Manchester United and your Liverpools and your English Premier League, Spanish Premier League, and then there was also a huge following for just local content. So locally produced shows, locally produced comedy clips. So there was a huge demand for that, and we also felt that in itself will also present an avenue for a lot of people that in that creative industry, which we find out that is such a huge array of people now that are going to trying to express themselves creatively. So we felt that this would be the perfect platform for them to come and showcase their talent, for lack of a better word. So that was the whole point. Why we felt like, we can't just keep it to one aspect of viewing. We have to show a huge variety of things because Nigerians themselves are very, very talented. Creativity in Nigeria is incredible. So it's something that we felt that we had to showcase that entire thing. So that was the reason why we just had a huge variety of shows and music videos and sport highlights.
It's nice because I personally feel like, you're doing that, and at the same time, you're giving exposure to people who are trying to make it out there because this is a whole new platform.
Exactly, especially on the music side, for example. One of our main focus on BRT Fresh was to focus on up-and-coming artists that would not have gotten the level of exposure that they would have wanted to get on your mainstay TV stations. So it was to focus more on that. So we've been running now for 10 years, and we've managed to at least one or two artists have come on the platform and have gotten quite a huge following from the platform. So it's something that at least we know that it has had that level of impact on people's lives.
Okay. All right. So let's go to the behind the scenes. I'm sure many of our viewers would like to know, how is the content assembled to ensure that all the buses are showing the same thing at the exact same time? What happens?
Okay, so first of all, it starts with people like you.
Okay.
So we have to first start with production to make sure that we have the shows themselves done to a very, very high standard. And we've been blessed to work with fantastic producers. So that's the first thing. The second thing is on the programming side. We have also a good area of talented people that work with us in making sure that they put together in a good sequence, because unlike normal TV, we don't go 24 hours, and we don't do fixed programming. Like, for example, with normal TV, you know that once it's 1 o'clock, you know that this is the show that's going to come on, or if it's and so on and so forth. But we don't work like that. So we have to make sure that we have a structure that incorporates everything that we need to do within the time that a commuter is on the bus. And somebody can be on the bus for 10 minutes, somebody can be on the bus for 45 minutes. So you must make sure that once that commuter is on that bus, or once that person is on the bus, they see everything that they need to see, and they're entertained, which is, like I said, is our #1 objective. Yeah. So that, with that being said, that is why the programming side of it has to come. So we put everything in a sequence, so that we can show your music videos, we can show your sport highlights, we can show your comedy clips, and so on and so forth. So that's why we have to make sure that the programming is good. And then obviously we have our team that goes on there, make sure that the buses themselves are being uploaded as frequently as we can, so that the content itself is kept fresh, so that people are not just watching stale content over and over again. So those are the kind of things that that goes on behind the scenes to make sure that we have a fantastic product to show to commuters. Yeah.
So for those who didn't know, now you know. So let's talk about since inception. Okay. Like you said, there's been a bit of change to how the programming works. Do you want to shed more light on that, like the improvements we've had so far, the advancements?
Yes. So from like if I think back.
I know you spoke about the news being the only thing back then.
If I think back to 2010 when we initially started the concept, we were running this platform on about 5 buses, and it was just more or less to see how people react to it. My partner I think 2 weeks in, we went to do a monitoring exercise on corridor, and this was when the buses were still running just from mile 12 to MSTBS. And we got to, I think it was Fade or Obanikoro, and we saw passengers staying there, and buses came, and the passenger will come in and they'll look inside the bus, and then they'll come back out, and then another bus will come and they'll come in looking, and they'll go back out. And so we went to the guy. He said, "Oh, we're waiting for
what are they looking out for?"
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, we was waiting for the TV, the bus, because we only had, because then we only had, there was about, I think about 100 buses or so, and it was only because it was just like more or less like a like a test. Yes, exactly, just to see how it is. So from there we knew that we had something there. So which is why we now said, okay, fine, let's start putting in different kind of content, and to start focusing on that. And we've grown now from that initial concept in 2010 on 4 or 5 screens. We've grown now to about 750 buses if we look at everything that we have. On 2 platforms, on 2 of the major platforms. So on the Primero platforms, which is what we started with, or we grew with in 2015, to now the Lagos bus reform buses that has now come into play. So and we're hoping that as the bus infrastructure in Lagos continues to grow, we will also continue to grow, because that is our impact. And so people, apart from seeing us on the buses, will be able to see us on the trains, we'll see us in the ferries. So that's the objective. But so far, at least, we've grown now in numbers. We're on 2 different platforms now, BRT and Lagos Bus Reform. And we'll just continue as the infrastructure in Lagos continues to grow, we'll continue to grow as well. Yeah.
So I'm happy that you mentioned the bus reform, because we're going to be talking about it much later. But we have to go on a quick break. And before we go on a quick break, I have a question for you. How would you say transit advertising TV has influenced transportation generally in Nigeria?
I think it's had a positive effect, because since we started and since we've tried to make this a viable platform, we've seen that it's been replicated in other parts of the country. So, for example, you can see some 1 or 2 companies trying to replicate what we're doing in Abuja, for example, and in Port Harcourt. And then if you look at also how it has also translated to how advertisers also spend or want to showcase their products and services on the platform, we've seen that has also changed. Most advertisers do not see it as a was a, I remember at that time initially when we used to go to, market the platform, and it was a nice to have. It was, it was, it's a nice platform. It's creative, and that's what we will get. But now it's seen as a, for lots of companies, when they do their marketing plan, it's a platform that has to come on board. And I think more importantly, also for the commuters, I think it has grown to be part of their daily commute, where they know that, when they are going to work or they're coming back from work, they'll see you, or they will see a music video, or even an inspirational quote that will just inspire them to want to be better or do better. I think we've created a platform that we feel like, within from 2010 to 2020, it's grown to something that it's become part of people's lives, and I think it's one of those things now that people just feel like it should automatically come with the bus. So if you have a platform or a bus BRT platform now, I don't think anybody will say that people, the same way that people were not used to ACs before. Now automatically, if you bring a bus out, everybody wants it to be air conditioned. I'm sure that now everybody wants it to.
That's the expectations
now, exactly. So I think that it's good. It's good for everything, everyone all around. Marketers, commuters, and the public in general.
Great. Okay, we still have a lot to talk about, but we have to go on a quick break. When we come back, our special guest is still here with us. Make sure that you do keep it locked in. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, I'm still here with the Executive Director of Value Media, Mr. Okpeshebanjo. But before I continue talking to him, I'd like to take you on a quick trip down memory lane. Now, over the past few years, we've spoken to some of our favorite celebrities, from Fowls, Niniola, to Seriki, CDQ, Kenny Black, and a whole lot of them. So here's a recap we created just for you. Enjoy. So, what's the name of the album?
You don't throw any more.
But
you'll be the first to find out.
That's what they say.
No, that's what Niniola is telling you.
But the bad guy, though, what were you doing and this was secondary school, right? Not even uni.
Well,
why did they call you bad guy?
Bad guy was more uni. Fowls was more secondary school.
Okay.
Bad guy was more like.
That's when you change your ways. But no, please join me as I welcome the one and only CDQ. Hello.
Hi, Mama.
How you doing?
I'm fine. You?
I'm fine, thank you. It's nice to have you on the show.
Same here.
Thank you for joining us. If you're just joining us, then you're right on time for me to introduce our very special guest. His name is Kehinde Peter Otolorin. Hey, I got it. AKA Kenny Black. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Hello.
How you doing?
Very well. Yo, it's your favorite boy Shiba, aka Mr. Ayoba. Thanks to everybody for voting. I'm here and it's about to get down.
Wasn't that like so much fun? Anyway, like I said earlier, Mr. Okpeshebanjo, the Executive Director of Value Media, is still here with us. Now, I'm very curious. You're a businessman.
Yes.
But you're also in entertainment, because we create entertainment on this platform.
Sure.
So how do you balance both?
I think it's a matter of priority. And also understanding that the entertainment side is not just a fun and be happy side, but there's also a business element to it as well. What we have is we've created a platform for people that want to be creative, to push their creative ideas and on there. And I think everything else just comes naturally after that. So on the business side, it is to make sure that we create a fantastic product. That is, that's our objective. So that everybody that watches it, as long as they can get the value that we're trying to push out, get it, then everything else will fall in line. In regards to advertisers coming on board, in regards to even, like as you mentioned, all the events that you said, I don't think we've, in the history of our company, we've ever gone actively looking to cover shows or to interview our artists. That always have happened organically, where they've seen the value that we've created, or that we're pushing out to commuters, and they've seen the value of the platform, and they want to come to partner with us. So that has always been what has always happened, and I think that has been our focus in regards to making it sustainable as a business, and also making it sustainable as an entertainment platform. Just making sure that the platform itself is the best that we can push out.
I'm curious, are there times when you've had to compromise on the business side just so that the entertainment side could flourish, or times when you've had to compromise on the entertainment for the business?
Like I said, it's not, the priority has always been the platform. If you create a fantastic platform, I don't think compromise will come in, because if you are trying to create something that you know, and you're not compromising on that, because in regards to making sure that we deliver on the best content that we can deliver on, or making sure that we deliver on the best level of entertainment that we can, on making sure that we deliver that the content is kept as fresh as possible. All that we don't compromise on. So because we don't compromise on that, everything else more or less just falls in its own natural place. So I don't think we've ever had a time where we've said we might have to pull ourselves back because we want to cover one entertainment show or the other, and and also maybe because of also our principles and the way we've created the platform, in the sense that we take on the responsibility of the platform that we have, given the fact that it has such a huge following. I mean, we're on about 6.5 million commuters that watch what we push out on a monthly basis. So we take that responsibility on head on, because of the fact that we know that we have to be responsible for what comes out there. So, and which is one of the reasons why most people would have noticed that if you've been watching from 2010 till now, the censorship of our content has been on point, because of the fact that, like I said, we take responsibility of what goes out there. We don't want anything there that will be seen as crude, or anything that will promote things that are not, for lack of a better word, wholesome. And apart from that, it is not to showcase Nigerians and Nigerian artists for what they wear or the action. Is to showcase the talent. So the art, exactly. So because if you make a fantastic song, it should be that song that you sell. It shouldn't be images of profanity or something. It should be the art itself that you sell, and that is the way we try to push the content out there. And also in regards to what we push out in regards to different shows and everything, and different content and what we cover and things like that, is to also make sure that we do things like that. Even to the artists that we interview, we make sure that we interview artists that they themselves have, what they're putting out there is good value. It's not just something that would, for lack of a better word, lead people astray. So that's what we work on.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. But we have to go on a quick break right now. When we come back, we still have a lot to talk about. Make sure that you do keep it locked in. Before the break, we were talking about the new Lagos bus reform project. So I'd like you to shed more light on that. How did it come about? How did it happen? And what does this mean for us moving forward? Okay,
so so the project itself was initiated by the previous administration of Governor Akinwumi Ambode. So they brought in 820 buses, and then they obviously mapped out the city, apart from the existing BRT corridor that you have now from Ikorodu to CMS TBS. So it was something that they now decided to obviously expand to cover the entire city. So obviously, as the new president administration of Governor Sanwo-Olu came on board, so there was a bit of tidying up that was done, and then we were brought in by Lamata to come in to basically replicate what we were doing with the 434 Primero buses with this new Lagos bus reform. So right now we've been allocated about 205 buses to manage on the BRT TV and all the advertising on the exterior as well. And then we're also partnering with one of our companies, as one of our sister companies, to also run the BRT TV on their own platform. So we're going to have for BRT TV about a total of about 750 buses that we're going to be showing the BRT TV on. And then just for advertising on the exterior and so on and so forth, we're going to have about 639 buses. So it's been something that we've been quite happy about, obviously because first it has shown that our hard work that we've been running and that we've been doing with Primero and so on and so forth has been recognized by the government for them to let us come in to work on these new buses. And also, we believe that it is something that we've also been looking for, because the scope is now quite wider, because apart from focusing on just one route, which is the Ikorodu CMS-TBS, I mean, now you have the entire city to show your product or service. So can you imagine if you're an up-and-coming artist, and initially all you were doing was pushing out content on the Ikorodu CMS-TBS route. Now you can now, once you have your video, you can now show it in VI, in Ikoyi, in Lekki. You can now show it at Ayobo, in Ikotun, in Okpaja. You can show it at Ikeja, Okwebi, Allen, all the way down to the airport. So it's something fantastic, and the same thing applies if you're trying to advertise a product or a service. So it's good. It's fantastic for us, and the numbers in regards to commuters for us has grown exponentially. Now we're looking at, on the BRT TV alone, we're looking at about 6.5 million to about 7 million viewers. That,
is that with the current, social distancing?
Exactly. If the government maintains the social distancing, that everybody's only going to be seated and there'll be no standing. And if we go back to how things was pre-COVID, where you could have sitting and standing on the bus, I mean, we'll be looking at close to an additional million viewers on that as well. So in regards to scope, in regards to number of viewers, it is something that has grown exponentially, and it's something that we've also taken. We're also happy to take on the challenge, because it means that operationally we're going to have to expand to the entire city, but it's something that we're happy about, and we're up for, and we're up to the challenge.
So let's talk about money, because we've already agreed that the scope is wider now.
Yes.
So what does that mean for these up-and-coming artists who would like to promote? I mean, because now they are going to reach a whole, wide. So what are the changes that are going to happen? And also for people who are, placing their products, advertisers. What's the price looking like? Okay. You need to cash out or something?
Because obviously, I think all through the interview, I've always said that in regards to money and financial part of it, that's not what we focus on, because that will come organically. We focus on trying to build a fantastic product. So, but just to go to your, I'm not trying to avoid your question. To go back to your question, we are. The good thing is that on the Primero side, so we are maintaining. We're not increasing our rates on that. We're maintaining. Yes, so we're maintaining our rates on the Primero platform. So if you're an up-and-coming artist and you want to come and you want to advertise your video and your talent on that platform, you can still go as low as 60,000 naira. So that doesn't change. But obviously on the Lagos Bus Reform, because of the scope and and various things as well. So if you're an up-and-coming artist, or even just an established artist, and you're trying to come onto those platforms, then obviously you come in as low as 100,000 naira for that platform. And I think we've now said that if you want to combine the both, so you want to be on all the buses that we have, I think we're looking at about 150,000 for it to go on both prices. But obviously people can get all the information from all our social media handles, so ValueMedia on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. And you can also contact us as well via email, info@valuemedia.com.ng, if you want to push things forward for that. In regards to the major brands and so on and so forth, because the way it's structured is that they are not an up-and-coming artist they are not showing a music video, so so their rate is different. So obviously once anybody gets in touch with us, we need to share the rate. It's quite a complex rate card, so it will be a full interview for me to be explaining all that out. But if they contact us on 08091046412.
Yeah, and to be honest, I feel like that is great price for the value that people are getting.
Of course.
It's actually a very fair price.
Okay.
So that is for BRT TV. Now, what other platforms under Value Media can people advertise?
Okay, so we have the BRT exterior, which is quite popular, which is basically the exterior of the bus. So people can also advertise on that, both on the Primero platform as well as the Lagos Bus Reform platform.
Okay.
Then we also have the interior branding, which is the back of the seats, and the top of the more or less it's like the top of the buses. So
Okay.
and that is on the Lagos Bus Reform, but on the Primero TSL buses, which is going by the back of the seats, and then the hangers that people hold on to while they're standing. So they will have you can brand those ones as well, and then obviously the BRT TV.
So what you're saying now is that the price changes are only affecting the new, Lagos
Yes,
Bus
so
Reform. Every
yes,
other thing
every other thing still remains the same, and
Okay.
and like I said earlier, once you contact us, we'll be able to share all those prices with you in regards to Lagos Bus Reform, because obviously
Yeah.
there are new prices, it's a
Okay.
new bus and everything. So
Okay. So thank you so much for sharing all that with us. Before
Sure.
we let you go, do you have any final words, anything you would like to say, especially to our viewers who have been so loyal to us over these past years?
I think I think it's best that I first start, by addressing what is happening now with the will I say the air of change that is going on in the country, especially with the young people. One thing I do want people to understand is that we always have to be optimistic about this country. Nigeria itself is something that, yes, we are not perfect, but we are perfectly made for each other, and it's something that we are trying to push out for people to be able to understand that and there is no perfect situation in any clime or any country. But I believe that, like I said, we're not perfect, we're perfectly made for each other, all of us, in respect of creed or religion or tribe. If you find out how all of us are, we all kind of just work. You would find people that will come from the eastern part of the country that grew up in the north, and you have people that grew up that are from the western part of the country that grew up in the east. And we all kind of mix, and we all kind of vibe. And if you look at our music, and if you look at our food, and if you look at our culture in general, there's been that mix. Artists like Fino is topping charts in Lagos.
Yeah.
Artists like MI, who comes from the Middle Belt, is topping charts in the East. And is doing collaborations with people like Flavor. Nigeria will get better. I always use us as an example. We're a company that we started with more or less 2 kids with nothing, and and look at where we are right now. So and I think in every single aspect of Nigeria, you have stories like that. That Nigeria they've beat the odds and they've managed to deliver something. And I believe that Nigeria would be that way for everybody. Us as a company, people like yourselves, people like our like our production team, people like just our staff. Majority of them are young. I think if not me, probably my partner is the oldest person in the company. The majority, the person that runs our social media is 19 years old. So we have to understand that the first thing that we have to do is that we have to first invest in ourselves, and we have to see ourselves as the only people that can solve our problems. It's not by looking outside there or pointing a finger at somebody else. We've been affected personally. Part of the destruction that happened over the past couple of weeks was on some BRT buses. Part of it was within our fleet. But I still am extremely optimistic about Nigeria. I'm still very optimistic about Lagos. I'm still very optimistic about what all of us are trying to achieve. And I want Nigerians, especially the youth, to be optimistic about this country. They have to be, because there's nothing else.
Yeah, we are our only hope,
Yes,
basically.
exactly.
Yeah, thank you so much. I feel like I was inspired from that message, so
Yes.
I can only hope that you watching will also be inspired and be moved to change. Thank you so much once again for joining us.
No
Had an
problem.
amazing time. I learned a lot, and I hope that you also learned a lot. We'll go on a quick break now. When we come back, there's still more. Keep it locked in. Welcome back. Just before we put a wrap to things on this episode, remember that if you've missed out on any parts, you can head to our YouTube channel, ValueMedia Advertising, to catch up. And while at it, make sure that you do subscribe. Now, you can also follow us on all our social media platforms. On Twitter, we are at ValueMedia_NG. On Facebook and Instagram, we are at ValueMediaNG. Until next time, I remain your host, Angela. Take care of yourselves, be good to yourselves, have a nice trip. Bye-bye.